So what is up, everybody? It is Rodak with Rodak Revival, and I won't waste much of your guys' time because we have so much to talk about in round 3 at San Diego of the 2022 Supercross seasons. So without further ado, let's go ahead, jump into these 250 results because like I said, we have a lot to talk about tonight. So for the 250 class, it started off with a bang. We had Joe Shimoda and your 250 points leader, Christian Craig, going down in the first corner. Christian was the last to get up from that pile too, so he was in dead last. And to make matters worse for Christian, he had both guys that he did not need to be out in first and second, with that being Michael Mosiman and Hunter Lawrence. Now Hunter and Michael, they would stay about a second to 2 seconds apart, but the real story of the race was Christian Craig. That man was on a tear. Christian was without a doubt the fastest rider on the track, even with no visor. It looked like his foot peg and his shifter, just everything just looked mangled. I'm sure his bars were mangled too. He went down pretty hard, but he was absolutely flying. I remember looking up and he was in 6th place and there were still 8 minutes to go in the race. Now keep in mind, guys, if you guys don't watch Supercross, these are 15-minute main events, and with 8 minutes still to go, so 7 minutes into the race, he had already worked his way up from 22nd to 6th place. So without a doubt, Christian Craig was definitely the hero of the night. But let's talk about those two front runners a little bit. And granted, I'm not these guys. I am not a professional motocross racer. I can't say what they can and can't do. I can just give my opinion, and I think Hunter Lawrence waited a little too long. He finally got the start he was looking for, and it looked like, based on the end of the race, it looked like he could reel in Mosiman whenever he really wanted. And he waited until about that 4-minute mark left in the race to finally start putting the pressure on once they had caught up to all those lappers. And unfortunately, a lapper is what ended up doing him in. I think it was with about 2 to 3 minutes left. He tried to go around Nate Thrasher, I believe it was, in the whoop section to try and get up next to Mosiman. And when he tried to, it's really difficult to try to turn and shift your movement and your weight in those whoop sections. The back end ended up swapping out everywhere, and he ended up going down in the back of Mosiman. And to me, the race was over right there. But coming down to the final lap, as they're going around that last bowl corner before the finish line, Hunter is now within half a second of Mosiman. Again, he caught back up in that matter of 2.5, 3 laps and was able to catch back up and reel up to Mosiman. And this is where I feel like Hunter made his second mistake. The first mistake being, I thought he just didn't pressure earlier in the race. I think he could have put a little bit more pressure on Mosiman. Maybe that was credit to Mosiman and he actually couldn't reel him in, but it looked like, from what I could see, that Hunter could pressure him at any time he wanted, and he just waited way too long. And then coming down to that last lap, I feel like it's one of those things where you really have to kind of put it out there. He was so close on that 3rd corner after the finish line. They made that left after the finish line, came down, hit that double, made another left, and then there was that straightaway. I feel like if Hunter would have went for it, he could have taken that inside of that next 180-degree corner, and he could have definitely made the move. I wholeheartedly believe if Hunter wanted to be aggressive, he could have made that move on Mosiman, and he could have potentially won this race. But he ended up holding up. I think he thought maybe he could catch him somewhere else on the track, and then he ended up getting caught up by Jalek Swoll, and then there goes your race and the first career win for Michael Mosiman. Now credit to Mosiman. Tonight he actually withstood the pressure and he stayed off the ground. If you guys have seen any of my videos this year, I've always said that Mosiman has the ability to win. I just don't know if he can stay consistent and keep it off the ground. Tonight was one of those nights. He kept it off the ground and he got his first career win. Am I putting a lot of stock into this win? No, I am not. And there's 2 reasons for that. He's had 1 win, and I think this was his 30th start. So that's 1 win out of 30 starts, and a lot of those times he's ended up on the ground at some point in the main event. So am I going to give him credit for the win? Absolutely. He absolutely deserved it. But am I putting a lot of stock in saying that he's going to go on a championship tear and just start winning these races? No, I don't. And the second reason I believe that is because I believe Christian showed tonight why he will be the 250 West Coast champion this year. He absolutely proved it. I think if he would have got a start, he would have pulled away from those 2 guys again, and it would have just been an easy race. Christian is definitely the most mature rider on the track, but he seems to be also the fastest. I do believe that. I don't believe anybody can match his raw speed right now. And if Christian can stay off the ground and continue to get top 5 starts this year, I think Christian will win. I believe even if Christian would have started off 10th in that race, I still believe he would have won that race. So with that being said, that is the 250 class. We have your top 5. You had Joe Shimoda coming in 5th. A very good ride by him after being down with Christian Craig in that first corner. You had Vince Freeze in 4th. Big surprise, Vince Freeze is kind of like the Michael Leslie to me in this generation. I thought of that tonight. I was like, he's basically Michael Leslie. He can start really good. He could ride defensive, but he's just never going to be a championship contender. You had Christian Craig in third, passing 19 guys in 15 minutes to come back and get that podium spot after being dead last in the first corner. You had Hunter Lawrence in second and Michael Mosiman coming out with his first career win. So give it up for those guys. I can't wait for the next race. I do believe Christian is going to come out with a fire, but I also believe we saw Hunter in that press conference. He was pissed, and yeah, I can't put it past Hunter to be more aggressive next round. Now for the 450 class, I feel like we finally got that parity that we've spoken about for so many years of, oh, this guy can win, this guy can win, we have all these guys that can win, we have all this parity, but we really haven't seen it. Now with these first 3 rounds in this 450 division, it has been absolutely insane. Let's break it down. So for starters, Eli Tomac finally got a good start tonight. If he gets a good start, we know he can definitely run up there. I still feel like he might not be comfortable with that bike as the race progressed, but we know he can get up there and manage a race, manage a win if that's possible, and manage a top 3. Now, as far as the lead is concerned, after about 4 minutes, Chase just pulled away. He was like 5 seconds out ahead, and that's really all that happened with the lead. Everything else happened behind it. So as far as the lead is concerned, there's not too much to talk about. Chase just got the lead from Muscan within like the second lap and just checked out, and that's really all there was to say about the lead for the whole entire race. But we'll get back to Chase and talk about him at the end of this recap. A big thing that I think we learned tonight is Jason Anderson is for real. I said it in my predictions earlier today that I wasn't putting a lot of stock into that win because it was his first win since 2018. Would he be able to replicate that? I think he started off 9th or 10th and he was in second place. He came back and passed Tomac. He took Roxon down. He was running those guys down, and it seemed like he was the fastest rider on the track. So for me, Jason Anderson is absolutely for real. But unfortunately, just a few laps after he gets past Tomac, his bike started to smoke. It looked like it lost some of that torque and that power, and he just had to kind of limp it to the finish line, and that is super unfortunate for Jason. He was going to come out tonight in 9th. I do think there was a good 50-50 chance that Anderson was going to be able to run down Chase. He was absolutely flying, so bummer to see his bike go up like that and having to salvage it for a 9th place, but he was still able to salvage it, and we'll talk about these points whenever we get done. Some other things that happened throughout the race: your points leader Justin Barcia, he got off to a not so great start, and then him and Bogle ended up coming together before the whoop section. Barcia ends up going down, and he ends up salvaging 8th place for tonight. So your points leader all the way back in 8th place. And Roxon, he was running pretty good tonight. I do think he could have landed up on that podium, but he had a little help from Anderson, put him down after that whoop section. Nothing you can really do there. So Roxon coming in and managing a 7th after a okay, decent start, and also being put on the ground. Not too bad for Roxon. And then for Webb, he really struggled tonight, but he was still able to manage out that 4th place. It looked like he struggled in the whoops still. It looks like they got some work to do on that bike, but I think with some work to the bike, Webb can definitely come out firing in the future rounds. Now let's give Chase the credit that he deserves. He finally stayed off the ground and won a main event. He finally got out front, took the lead early, and managed the whole race, and man, he was out there flying. They really didn't put a lot of TV coverage on him until those last couple of laps on his way to the victory, but you could tell just by the way he was checking out from the field, he was definitely flying, he was definitely flowing, and I am super pumped for Chase. He has been so close so many times. We saw it in round 1 this year, we saw it in a few rounds last year where he was basically like a last lap he lost the win, and we all knew he was going to win eventually, but it's just finally good to see him, all that emotion that he had after he came over that finish line, even going over the triple before he even finished. He was just already waving his fist and pumping his fist. You could tell how excited he was. So super happy for Chase to get that first career victory tonight. I do think he's going to get plenty more in his career. So is this a start of a Chase Sexton run? Only time will tell, but we just got to see if he can keep it off the ground. So for your top 5 standings tonight, you had Malcolm Stewart running a very quiet but good race, coming in at 5th. You had Cooper Webb in 4th. We talked about him. Dylan Ferrandis, a great ride tonight. I feel it was a little bit circumstantial. He finally got a good start, but some of the guys weren't riding as good tonight, and I feel like Ferrandis kind of capitalized that. He's coming in 3rd. You had Tomac in 2nd. I do think he's still coming alive. He's getting better each round, so I do think it's only a matter of time before we see Eli win. And then, of course, like we just mentioned, Chase Sexton coming away with the win. Now, about that parity that I was talking about, here's your 450 point standings. You have Eli Tomac with no wins on the season, and he just got his first podium tonight. He is your points leader at 59 points. And you have Chase Sexton, gets his first win tonight, and he's only 1 point down. You also have Webb, who hasn't rode good these past 2 races. He's only 1 point down. Barsha, your points leader, he did not have a good race, but he manages 8th place. He is only 2 points back. Plessinger, we didn't even talk about him all entire night. He is in 5th, and he's 5 points down. Anderson, he had to limp his bike to the finish line. If not, this would have been a totally different point standings. But Anderson, he's only 6 points down. And then you have Roxon and Malcolm Stewart coming in at 7 points down in the series. Now that is absolutely crazy. We have the top 8 riders and only 7 points differentiate them. It has just been an absolutely wild season. You have Roxon, who's in 7th place in points, and he won your opening round. You have Anderson, who won the 2nd round, and he's 6th place in your point standings. So that means 2 of your top 3 guys in the point standings have not won a race. You have Eli Tomac, like I said, just got on the podium for the first time tonight. Sexton with his first win tonight, and Cooper Webb with no wins this year either. So it has been absolutely crazy. I was not expecting them to announce that Eli Tomac is now your points leader. So we'll have to see with him being the points leader. Is that going to put a new fight in him? Is it going to give him more of that bulldog mentality of to just go out and hold that red plate? Because I don't think he was expecting to get the red plate tonight either. All I know is only time will tell. I am so ready for round 4 to be here because it looks like we are shaping up for it to be a great season. We've had 3 different winners already. We've had a first time winner tonight. We know Tomac is going to get a race win eventually. We know Webb is going to get a race win eventually. We suspect that Jason Anderson is for real and he's going to get another win here soon. We can't count Kenny out. And then you got the other guys, Barsha, Plessinger, and Stewart. Are they going to be able to get a win this season? It is going to be a fun season, guys. If you like this video, smash the like button. If you're ready for more content, hit the subscribe button. And I will see you guys in a later video. Peace.